I don't think you understood what I was doing or even saw like that there was a way to make money. It took a while for you to kind of see the vision, I think, that I saw. Let's just go. Let's just do it. You only live once.
I emailed every management company under the sun.
I have quit my full daytime job. When I was making more money from YouTube than I was making from my 9-to-5 job.
Yeah, he's ready to go.
That's when I was like, okay, why am I doing this still? I have a lot to say about sponsorships.
Oh, God.
I wouldn't even really worry too much about the subscriber count. That does not really matter that much. To me, all this shit makes my brain hurt. Like, I hate all this stuff. I didn't know what the hell I was doing when I started.
Yep.
You know, I'm still just figuring stuff out as I go.
What is something most people get totally wrong about being a YouTuber?
Welcome to the Wife Approved Podcast. I'm Shane.
And I'm Caroline.
Let's go. All right, we're back with another episode. What's this episode? I think 16 now. It's crazy. We're just moving right along. This is coming out the week of Thanksgiving.
Yes.
So this was supposed to be our content creator episode. Every time I'm out, people say, what do you do for a living or whatever? And I say, I do YouTube videos or I'm a content creator. I always get so many questions. People genuinely seem interested. I think it's still unique or unusual enough. I mean, it's definitely more common now, but I think it's still unique enough that most people probably don't know somebody that does that. I think in their real life.
Yes. And I also think that if they do know somebody, they don't think that you make money.
Yeah.
Like, I think they maybe think of it as like a hobby.
Yeah, for
right?
sure. Yeah, I've definitely experienced that until you say that that's what you do full time. And then they
give you the awkward look.
Yeah. So I get all kinds of questions and people, you know, they genuinely seem interested and ask me a bunch of questions usually about it. So I figure we could address some of those questions. We actually got a bunch of questions from listeners, some of you guys who have submitted questions and stuff on Instagram and on YouTube and things like that. So, and we'll continue to take questions. So you can submit your questions for future episodes through the link in the description below. You can submit anonymously, or you can just send us a message or a comment on Instagram or something like that. And we can address it in a future episode. But let's just jump right in. Let's talk about this.
And thank you to everyone that has sent questions. We actually got a lot. So that was nice. And that's actually how I'm going to start. We got a really nice comment. So I'm going to read it. So this is Alonzo, I hope I said that right, says, hey, hello guys, Shane, I found your initial channel back during COVID. And while I do have a few smart home items, I'm not a huge smart home person, but do watch your videos. However, while skeptical at first, I love the podcast. Please keep up the great work you two do. You guys would make the coolest neighbors, I feel.
Yeah.
I recently started a new YouTube channel for my son, who is only 12. While I had some concerns up front and denied his request several times, after talking to him and seeing that he really wanted to do it for the right reasons and not just for superficial reasons or to strictly make money, I agreed and run it full time for him. So yes, I would really enjoy a content creator's episode or two. Shane, your comments on money a few episodes ago tells a lot about you, as I look at money the same way. And Caroline, you have such a big, beautiful heart. Happy Thanksgiving to you both.
Awesome.
Sweetest comment. Thank
nice.
you, Alonzo. And I think that's so cool that you are, you know, doing that with your son, for your son, and really embracing the entrepreneur mindset. Sounds like your son has that mindset. So that's really cool. And I think it'll only grow, doing what he loves.
Not really a question in there, I don't think, but definitely a nice comment. And I like what he said there too about checking to make sure he's doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And he specifically said not for money.
Yeah.
And that's very important. I feel like as if you're starting or thinking about starting a YouTube channel or whatever, which we could talk more about, but I noticed that, which I think was good. And we maybe should like preface this episode a little bit for maybe those who there's probably people that don't watch my actual YouTube channel. So maybe,
I'd say most. I'm just kidding.
Maybe. So I guess we should just mention, like, I have quit my full daytime job. I've been doing YouTube full time now for
how many years?
2 years. In September, it was 2 years.
Almost gave me a panic attack.
So just over 2 years, I've been full time. I've been doing YouTube since early 2019. So took a few years before I quit and went full time. And I think we're at just under 175,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel right now. So yeah, that's where we're at. Little background on the channel in case you didn't know.
All right. So, the first kind of question we get, or that you get, that I see, and I get it too.
It's always about money.
It's always about money. They're just confused when you say, first it's like, oh yeah, you do YouTube. Okay. Well, what do you do for work? That's usually the follow up. So, I think we'll just start, just get straight to the point.
The money talk.
This is the money talk. So how do YouTubers actually make money?
You know what? That is the first thing that people always say. You know what? I think sometimes that people wonder, nobody's actually said this, but I wonder sometimes if people think that like you're supporting me.
Really? I've never.
I don't know if anybody actually thinks that, but I wonder sometimes if that's what they think. I mean, they're like, oh, he's just making YouTube videos all the time. His wife must be the breadwinner.
I'm the breadwinner. Ooh,
I don't know. I don't know.
I like that.
I don't know if that's actually something people think, but I wonder that.
That's very much not the case. So just first question: how do you make money?
How do you make money? So on YouTube, and just content creators in general, typically. I kind of look at it as three buckets. So there's multiple ways you make money. You kind of want to diversify the most you can, but there's really three main ways, the way I see it. And that's straight from YouTube, which is called like Google AdSense. That's basically when you see those ads on YouTube, I get basically a check from YouTube every month, that's for that. So the more views and stuff you get, the more ads that play, the bigger that check is. And that revenue does vary greatly depending on what niche you're in. Some are more than others. But anyways, that's one way. So that's Google AdSense. Then there's affiliate marketing, which is affiliate links. So, if somebody clicks on a link that I generate, let's just say you go to Amazon, you buy something through one of my links, I get just a really small commission, especially through Amazon.
Like pennies on the dollar.
It's really small from Amazon. Yeah. But I get a very small commission. There's no extra fee or anything for you as the user. You just buy stuff like you normally would, and then I would get a small commission just because you got to Amazon or whatever through my link. So there's Google AdSense, so YouTube directly. There's the affiliate marketing, and then there is sponsorships. And that I would say is the big one. That's where probably content creators make most of their money, I'd say, is sponsorships. I know me specifically, that's where I make.
Yeah, it is. That definitely is the biggest hitter. I feel like affiliate marketing could be bigger. That's something we could probably do better on.
Yeah.
There's other platforms that pay better than, like Amazon is just Amazon, but there are other creator platforms out there that pay different. I think YouTube Shopping is really trying to amp up. Their commissions are a lot higher. And it goes based off brand.
Yeah.
So we could do better. I could say on affiliate marketing.
It's all on your
niche.
Well, not so much, but just what your preference is. I know some people who just focus on Amazon,
so
for
affiliate
example,
marketing,
and they do mostly, most of their income comes through affiliate marketing and stuff, and specific programs like through Amazon. There's an Amazon influencer program and stuff. It's just on your style. Like me personally, I don't really like doing that as much because then it's all based on the clicks. You have to get people to click in order to make money, and it's all about that commission. And to me, that's not really my favorite way. I mean, it's nice, like if I'm talking about a certain product or something anyways, you click on it, you can get to the product easier, maybe you get a little discount code or something. It's a win-win for everybody, but I don't like really just pushing that, all the time myself.
Well, several people we know that focus strictly on Amazon, and not just affiliate marketing, but something that I found out through, meeting people at CES is, the reviews, so like
that's the influencer.
Yeah, that is wild. And I'll just touch it lightly. So basically you could make reviews on, leave review. I rely heavily on reviews on Amazon or anywhere. I never leave them, but I rely on them. So you make, a 60-second review, don't even have to show your face. And post it. And if anyone watches your review or, your video review on Amazon and then purchases that product, you get, again, a small commit.
It's
It's a bigger
commission.
commission, whatever. But I didn't realize that was even a thing. And like to not even have to show your face or anything. Like I know the couple that we talked to, like she's like, we don't even put our face in it. I literally just post what I buy. Anyways, very interesting. So those are the three ways
I will say too to that. Anybody can certainly do that, but it is the people who really do it well are very strategic about it. I feel like on Amazon, you have to be pretty strategic about when you're putting out videos on Amazon. We shouldn't even get into that because I do YouTube.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe and maybe not. Anyway, so that's how you make money. Those are the three buckets. So Jim asks, at what point did you say, okay, this thing is now replacing my job's income and now I can quit? What was your subscriber count, sponsorships, etc.? What made you comfortable saying goodbye 9 to 5? Love these. I watch these with my wife. She's a non-techie, but loves your wife's point of views. I like her, Jim. So lots of questions in there, but at what point did you say, okay, this thing's replacing my job's income?
Well,
how far in?
Just then when I finally, so there's kind of 2 points in my mind. So like one, when I wanted to go full time, and then when I actually did. So I think some people may do it sooner than others, maybe before they should. Other people may wait longer. I was one that waited I probably waited about 2 years after I kind of wanted to. Like, I thought
when did you know? He said did you say, okay, this thing is now replacing my job's income?
Well, just then when I was making more money from YouTube than I was making from my 9 to 5 job.
Yeah, he was ready to go.
That's when I was like, okay, why am I doing this still?
Yeah.
And that was probably 2 years after I had been considering it anyways. The only reason I didn't do it sooner is because I've got a family, wife and kids, and honestly because you were super nervous about it. Like I was making well enough money like that. I saw the potential. I knew where it could go if I could put all my time and effort into it. I really didn't have any doubt. Caroline is definitely a lot more risk adverse than I am. And I was just like, let's just go. Let's just do it. You only live once.
Well, keep in mind, I was one of these people asking all the questions. Like I had to understand all this too. I had no idea about YouTube. I was not a YouTube watcher. And so I had to learn and see it. Like I was so confused.
Instead of just trusting me.
Well, no, like I didn't, I did not trust you. No, I just, I think I remember asking you like, what if you run out of things to talk about? At one point, because I'm just sitting here like, how?
But I kind of saw the light, probably about 2 years before I actually did it. And I'd been thinking about it. But with that said, like I had a very flexible job, which did allow me to go that long.
So what was your subscriber count? That was the second question.
I don't really remember. If I was still under 100,000 subscribers.
You were over 2 years ago. You've been in the 140, I'd say to 170s now. I'd say for like at least 2 years. Wow. So you were over 100.
Over 100,000. But see, I don't really look at like, I wouldn't focus if you're like considering this type of stuff. I wouldn't even really worry too much about the subscriber count. That does not really matter that much.
It matters some, but
it really, the only reason, honestly, subscriber count is kind of a vanity metric. It makes you feel good. You get a plaque when you get 100. It's great. It's awesome. And it does make you feel good when you see those numbers go up, but view count is more important than anything, first of all.
Engagement.
And engagement and all that stuff. So, I see people with way more subscribers than I do that have less views on average, which, is what it is. And then obviously there's people who have a ton of subscribers who also have a ton of views, which is where you really want to get. And there's people who have fewer subscribers, but my views were very consistent. So I didn't see a lot of fluctuation, which, was a good sign to me. And I just saw the brands and the companies reaching out was just relentless all the time. And it's been that way for quite a while. You don't have to have a lot of subscribers for these brands to like want to work with you and stuff like that. And I will say though, maybe the only good thing about the subscriber number is that it's just an easy number that brands see and they'll say, okay, he's got 100,000 subscribers or whatever it is. We want to work with him because of that. Yeah, and that might be the only thing they look at.
But if they looked at your subscriber numbers and your views were shit, then it wouldn't matter. So it matters some. All right. So what made you comfortable saying goodbye to the 9 to 5? Is it just the money, or like that was part of his question? Like, was it the money that made you comfortable, or you were just?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you, like I said, it was an easy move for me because I waited so long. And like I said, I was making more money through YouTube than I was from my 9 to 5. So I felt pretty confident that it was the right move. Obviously going from like basically 2 incomes down to, well, I guess 3, if we're including you, but losing a whole 9 to 5 income, was, I guess, something to think about, but I don't know. I just wasn't really worried about it. So that's why I was comfortable.
All right. So this is from Frederick. Exactly how does your wife support you as a YouTube content creator? What are her roles and responsibilities for Shane Creates?
So nowadays, Caroline, you do like all of the contracts, and mainly the contracts and like working with brands kind of in the initial phase. I mean, we talk about stuff a lot, as far as like who I want to work with and things like that. But that's the side of the business that I always hated. I hated, negotiating. I freaking hate contracts. I hate any kind of paperwork. Like, I'm a creative through and through. Like, just let me make stuff, make videos, whatever. That's what I want to do. And so and you're so good at that stuff. Like, you do that and have been doing that for many years. So, that's why she does that. Well, yeah, those are the reasons why you helped me with that. But it wasn't always the case. Like, for the first few years, I did all that myself. Like, Caroline had to learn all this stuff. And, it got to a point before I quit my day job, where I did feel like I was just drowning. Like, I just could not do all of the things. And
the back end's a lot of work.
And I think that's when you stepped in, because I was like, something's got to give here. I can't, like, I don't have the time to work on the content and deal with all these contracts and do all the stuff behind the scenes. And
so what else? There's
and
more.
You were like, well, don't quit your job. So I guess I'll help you. So that's what she does.
What else do I do? So I do negotiations, emails, contracts,
invoicing, all that kind of stuff.
Admin, bank accounts,
yeah.
Taxes, mileage. I pay taxes quarterly. So all the business stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not just negotiations and contracts, although that is a big heavy
the business admin side of it, And like I said, for years I did all that, which maybe part of a different conversation, but like for the first like few years, Caroline, she always was supportive, but I don't think you understood what I was doing or even saw like that there was a way to make money, or that it took a while for you to kind of see the vision, I think, that I saw like early on.
Yeah, I just wasn't a YouTube watcher.
Right.
I didn't get it.
Right.
I'm just not a YouTube person. I know a lot of people are and have been for years, but I just knew it made you happy. I didn't really care what you were doing.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. I mean, I trusted you, but let's see, what else? Keto Clasher asks, should I create an LLC before creating my channel? Should the channel name, okay, he said this wrong. So basically, should the channel name be the name of the LLC?
Oh, yeah. So, well, I would probably like, disclaimer here. You might want to like talk to your tax people or financial people, because this kind of stuff may vary from state to state or region to region. But for us, yes, we do have an LLC, and I would say, at least from my experience, yes, you should start one. The earlier, the better. if you're going to be making any money at all, or if you think that it might become a thing or a significant thing. Definitely do it earlier, sooner than later. You want to separate all your personal finances and stuff from any money that you're making or spending, for YouTube. And that was a big learning process for us.
We didn't know that.
And, it took, we took a couple years, and, we had some messes to kind of clean up and get all that stuff straight in order. But yeah, the sooner you can get on that, the better. And as far as the naming conventions, your YouTube name and stuff does not have to be the same as your LLC. Mm-hmm. That could be named whatever. Yep. It doesn't matter.
Yep. I would say do it soon. Open your LLC, go open a bank account, and that way you're ready when it does start making money or whatever. Or even if you make no money for 3 years, but you're, buying things to make videos about, you can write that off.
Tax write-offs.
Yeah. So the next question is there anyone else, an outside party, that helps you with your content creation, or is everything done in-house by you and Caroline?
So we don't have anybody on like a payroll or anything necessarily, but I do use a video editor now, and I've done that for the past couple of years. It's probably been about 3 years now that I've been using a video editor. So we outsource that. I do still edit a lot. I don't think there's been a single video that I haven't edited at least a little bit of. I'd say maybe 20% or more. But yeah, when I was a year or two before I quit my 9-to-5 job, I was kind of looking at everything, and I said, okay, I can't do all this anymore, 9-to-5 job and YouTube, because YouTube was becoming a full-time job for sure. And I was considering quitting then. You really were hesitating, like I said, about that. And once I kind of did the math, I decided that it actually would have been just better for me to pay an editor, keep my 9-to-5 longer, pay an editor to offload a bunch of that, and free up a lot of time each week. So that's why I started using an editor, was actually so that I could keep my 9-to-5 for a while longer. And I did that for at least a year or so before I did quit my 9-to-5.
Yeah.
Anything else that we outsource or
offload? we do have and I recommend this, like if this won't really be an issue for you in the beginning, or actually could be, but finding a tax person that like understands the content creation world. We're in South Carolina, and it's just really hard. Like, we're not in LA or Atlanta or New York or Chicago, the big cities, or Dallas, where there's a ton of content creators, and like there's people that understand the job. But I will say, like, TaxSlayer ain't gonna cut it. TurboTax, you're not gonna be able to do your taxes anymore. You need to find someone that really understands it and get you set up, because at a certain point, you're gonna have to start paying yourself payroll. Then you'll be taking distributions. And so there's like all these things that like I had no idea about. So I would say find a good tax person early on to help you like structure things. Like, we outsource to a tax person to pay the state. So while I pay like federal taxes and state taxes quarterly, because you're on payroll, we have to also pay in separately, and it's like really confusing. It's just above my league. Like, I'm just not an accountant. And so we do pay quarterly to our tax firm to help us handle the payroll type taxes and the Medicare and like stuff that you have to pay. And that's going to differ like on each state, like depending on where you live. So please do that, so that everything is in order. We also outsource, we have a kind of like consulting that helps us with pricing. We know how to price, but it's just very hard at the rate the emails come in. Or, we've just gotten like really weird requests that I had no idea how to price, like speaking and conferences. And so we do pay each month to a company that really works in sponsorship deals. Like that's what they're about. And so we do pay them monthly.
It's basically just a consulting company that helps with like, pricing out brand deals and stuff like that, which we've only been doing that for maybe about a year or so.
But it's been really beneficial. It's been great because like you know, I will also suggest any content creator to, as far as your rates are concerned, you know, when I started this with you, when we started, there was like nothing online about it. I could
Yeah.
not find nothing. I remember as far dedicated videos, I found like a podcast so that's how I, you know, priced those. And then we actually did use Social Blue Book for a while, which was nice. It really is. Your
Somewhat
live
helpful.
streams hurt the rates. But like if you want to start small on something that's cheap, Social Blue Book is a really good example. But if you have to hide your live streams when you go to calculate your rates, because if you do lives, you know, like you do and Eric and whoever else is on YouTube, the live stream will bring your value down because the views are low.
Aren't as high.
So like if you don't have, you know, I would start there, but yes,
You know,
outsource. So what, editing,
and
brand
all
deal.
I would just want to say too, because this to me all this shit makes my brain hurt. Like I hate all this stuff. So like if you're listening to this and you're thinking about starting, or maybe you're new and you want to do YouTube or whatever it is, like don't get overwhelmed with all this stuff. Like I hate all this shit. It still makes my brain hurt, and you know, you'll figure it out as you go. Like
Just start the LLC.
You don't have to do all. Yeah, I mean, starting an LLC is pretty easy, and you can do that early on. But like all this other stuff, you know, you can just do it later or whenever the time is right. You know, but just start. Like just do it. Like that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know what the hell I was doing when I started.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still just figuring stuff out as I go.
And I will say what's cool about the like, I won't say culture, but like I feel like what people are craving, we've talked about on here, like real. I will say that like you're not lucky, but you can edit. There may be some people that want to start a YouTube channel that are going to be great on camera, have great things to talk about, but they don't know how to edit.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that I think it's great that like, you know, I've said this before, my dad watches YouTube and he like loves this guy that's just like live, or the videos he watches may be slightly edited, but it's not perfect. And I would just say, like you say, just start, edit the best you can, because people crave raw and real. They don't want some like perfectly cut, like, you know, don't not start because you're anxious, like, oh crap, I can't edit this video. Like do the best you can and figure it out and post.
There's going to be a learning curve no matter what. I mean, you have to figure out, you know, file formats and stuff like that if you don't have any experience there, or you can pay somebody to handle that side.
Pay
of
a
it
high
for
school
you.
kid.
You can pay somebody to give you the file and upload it yourself, you know, so there's that. But yeah, just do it, you know, and realize too, you know, and this is something that I realized myself early on is like, at first, like, nobody's really watching your videos. Nobody cares. Like I knew my videos were probably going to suck at first. Like I actually thought they were good. I mean, they were good for me, but I just knew that every one that I uploaded would just get a little bit better. And I just try to keep learning each time. So, you know, just do it and they'll get better. You know, you'll get better for sure.
Okay. So do you have any more to say about sponsorships?
Yeah, I have a lot to say about sponsorships.
Oh God.
So again, we talked about sponsorships as being like one of the main ways we make money, but I still see, you know, when I post videos that are sponsored, fairly often enough, I get people that just have like negative things to say. And I think there might be some comments about like negative, or some questions about negative comments we can address later. But people seem to kind of talk shit because videos are sponsored and stuff like that here and there. I see those comments and I get it. I guess people say like, oh, this video is sponsored. I can't trust anything they're saying or whatever because the video is sponsored. Like I see stuff like that. And usually fair, you know, it's probably people that don't know me or that don't watch me that much or whatever. But like, I just kind of don't understand that. Like there are probably people out there that will take any sponsorship deal that comes to their table, and they'll pitch any product regardless of what it is just to make a few dollars.
Yep.
But I would say that for sure, I'm not like that. And I think probably most content creators aren't. I mean, there are some, I guess, but like, I just want people to understand, like we get probably a minimum 100 emails a day. Like I literally wake up in the morning, because a lot of these things are coming from like overseas and stuff. And I'm just before you even get up, I'm just deleting emails pretty much every day, you know, of all these companies. So like I could get on YouTube and talk and do sponsorships for all kinds of shit. I've had companies from just, you name it, the craziest shit in the world reaching out to me.
My favorite one that I wish we would have worked with that just didn't happen, Manscaped.
Manscaped. No, I've had like ED companies,
yeah.
like, I mean, just the craziest stuff in the world, right? But, you know, like a lot of the brands that I worked with, one, you know, obviously I really like the brand. Like we only work with brands and like talk about and share products or recommend products that I actually like and use. A lot of these brands I was using long before any of them knew who
or
I
were paying
was,
you.
or who they, yeah. And I just, if you think about it, like from our perspective, right? Like, let's just use a simple example. Let's just say you love to wear Nike, right? You've been wearing Nike every day for, you know, the last 5 years. And then Nike reaches out to you and says, hey, we want to pay you to go tell all your friends how great Nike is. I mean, what would you do? You'd be like, hell yeah, cool. That's awesome. I love Nike.
Yeah.
I'll go talk about Nike. I'll go tell my friends about Nike.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to lie about Nike. I'm not going to say that I love this color, even though I hate this color. You know, I'll tell the truth, but they make good stuff or whatever. Right. So that's kind of where I come from. That's where I
think I understand their position. I think it's just the regular folk not understanding the content creator and the business behind in this world, because I didn't understand it either. And the bottom line is, you know, a lot of these products you like test first. And, you know, there's been many contracts that have been signed and deals have been made. There was a lot of money on the table and we said, sorry.
Oh yeah.
No, we have had to cancel because products did not meet expectations or you just didn't like it. And we've said no and lost money. And that's fine, because at the end of the day, like, neither one of us want anyone to spend their hard-earned money on a product that sucks. Like, but I do understand that from a person on the outside who's looking in, it does look. I get it. I get what they see.
I see where they're coming from, I guess. But that's why I just want to kind of explain it from my side of things. Like this is stuff that I love, that I use. I mean, I love this shit that I'm talking about. I've not like sold or highlighted any products or worked with any companies for something that I think sucks. You know, and I never would. I mean, it doesn't make, like you said, I wouldn't want to do that to people in the first place. And also, like you said, we've lost money because a product didn't live up, or you know, we had an agreement for a product that I thought would be awesome, and then I tested it and I'm like, look, this shit just doesn't work, you know, so we're gonna have to cancel the deal. You know, so that does happen. But
I get it. There probably are people out there that are full of shit, so I understand it. You know, I mean, I really do. I see some of these people and the products they're putting on there, and I'm like,
there's a wide spectrum. So there are people that do that, I guess.
But, you know, again, they just probably don't watch you, or maybe they do watch you and they're still sketched out about it. Again, it's just a different world, and, you know, it's a matter of trust. And, you know, I mean, I get it. I do get where they're coming from.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right. Well, let's throw it. Speaking of sponsorships, let's throw it to our sponsor, Aqara. Thank you, Aqara, for sponsoring this episode. Blah, 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 blah. I can't. You got to cut that. Thanks to Aqara for sponsoring this episode. They have everything that will make your home smart, from cameras to smart locks, sensors, smart lights, and much more. Aqara has some great deals going on right now for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, up to 48% off. The Smart Lock U100 is on sale with support for Apple HomeKey. You can tap with your iPhone or Apple Watch to unlock the door, or just use the fingerprint sensor. Their latest outdoor camera, the G5 Pro, and doorbell camera, the G410, are also on sale, as well as door sensors, water sensors, and much more. Check out the link in the show notes for all the Aqara Black Friday deals. Y'all know we love Aqara. They were the first wife-approved spending our money on brand, because they were not super expensive.
Speaking of sponsors too, like we were just talking about sponsors before that little ad, I want to say something else too. For I understand people's argument about like working with sponsors, but first of all, like Aqara sponsoring this podcast, we love Aqara products so much. We actually reached out to them for this. So sometimes we will do that. And brands will work with you in that way. But something I want to say about people who think you're not being honest when you're like, let's say I do a video about a new Aqara product. Actually, the G5 Pro that you mentioned is a good example. I did a video on that when it first came out. It was a sponsored video. And sometimes people think because a video is sponsored, you're not going to be honest about it, right? But there were some things that I did not like about that camera when it first came out. And I said it in my video, right? So that's another thing with these deals is like, if a company is not going to let me speak freely or just say what I want to say, I'm not going to work with them. That's one thing. But on top of that, from a tech side, like by me saying certain things or features that I don't like is actually really valuable insight for these companies.
Yeah.
So like Aqara is a great example of a company that, and the good ones will do this, but like Aqara will listen to the community, whether it's me specifically as a content creator or other content creators or Reddit or whatever. Aqara is really good about listening to the community, taking feedback and making changes. I've seen them do it a number of times over the years. And again, the good companies will do that. So I'm not doing a service to anybody by just lying or just, by not pointing out flaws or whatever in a certain product. And that camera is a really good example. There were a few things I didn't like about it. I said it in my video. And then I'm not saying they changed things just because of me, because I wasn't the only one that mentioned these things, but literally within like 2 months or something, they pushed updates and improved and fixed all the things that I had to say. So like me being honest and providing like real feedback is valuable to the companies. And again, hopefully you're working with companies, and buying products from these companies who actually do listen to the customers. Yeah. So that's just something else I thought about that is, important to do. That's why, there's usually good and bad with every product.
Well, yeah. And it's all a matter of opinion
and
too.
I'll point it out. So.
All right, so let's move on. I know a lot of questions we get is like, what's it really like? So what is something most people get totally wrong about being a YouTuber?
I would probably say just that it's so easy. Oh, you just make videos all day. That must be awesome. Yeah. And it is awesome. Like, mind you, I love it.
But it ain't easy.
But it's not easy. You see kind of obviously there's the whole business side of it if you're doing it as a job that we've talked about. Probably younger people more than anything, like think that, all the young kids, like they want to be YouTubers and content creators nowadays, but I don't know if they realize just how much work it is. Like I put in way more hours for YouTube than I ever have at any job.
Yeah. All right. So next question, which I think you've already answered. What part of the job do you actually hate?
Oh yeah. All the admin business stuff.
Yeah.
Contracts, negotiations, money, all that I hate. Just let me make videos.
And I'll say like, for a long time when I was trying to figure it all out, and I work hard. Like I have a very stressful job. It's not just like a normal whatever. Like my job is high stress.
Your 9 to 5.
My 9 to 5 is high stress. And so then I have to come home. I work 44 hours one week, 36 the next. I'm the mom, I'm the everything in the house, cook, all that stuff. And then I come home and have to help him on the nights and weekends. It was a lot. And I remember years ago, we were trying to find management for you. We tried so hard. I emailed every management company under the sun because I do follow a lot of content creators and they tag their management. I was reaching out to everybody and everybody was like, no, sorry, no, the decline. Your application was decline. And now they're reaching out to us and I'm like, delete, because don't worry about it. Like we're good. But I remember that was something that I was trying to get us help so they could handle the back end. They could handle the contracts, negotiations. And I'm not saying that we will never be open to management, because a lot of content creators have said, that they actually bring in, even though they take a piece of it, which is around like, I think 15 to 20%, they also bring in more. So I'm not going to say that I'm never going to agree to it, but it was like I was, you were over 100K, and we were like still getting denied by these big management companies. And now they're reaching out, and I'm just like,
so that's probably a good question. I've always kind of wondered that too, whether or not that's a good move to go with to get some sort of manager.
you know, it's hit or miss. I will say, like, the company we use to help us with rates is anti that, because they were content creators. So they've lived in the world, they've had it, and they've not had it. I've seen a lot of Instagram. I follow a lot of women content creators, you know, like home or lifestyle, fashion, family. I've seen a lot of them who had management for years and then brought it back in house. You know, and I see a lot of them that still have it and say that their income went up tenfold, like 10 times, and so then maybe it's worth it.
I know some content creators also firsthand that also speak really highly of it.
It just depends. I think the biggest ick is, you know, you've got these managers and you're not their only talent, and their paycheck depends on, you know, getting deals, and there becomes like favoritism, or like, you know, brand maybe only want one person. The love's not, you know,
but there's also,
you're not their number one focus. And I think that becomes an issue. So I think if you ever are managed, you really need to be like looking at how many people they manage, right? Because you need to be at the forefront of their mind. Basically, no one's going to work harder for you than you.
Yeah. But they also potentially, you know, on the other side, they potentially have more connections. They can, you know, they're also incentivized to bring you deals because that's how they get paid as well.
You ought to go watch the episode for that company we use. Anyway, so I'm not totally against it, but I did try to like get us help. So
it probably kind of depends too how well you can do on your own, negotiating and reaching out to brands and stuff. Like I said, I built what I have now on my own, even before you got involved. Like, I had no problem reaching out to companies. I also did freelance work for like many years on my own. So like I was pretty comfortable with like, you know,
you're really good
pricing and things like that, communication, negotiating or whatever. So I had built a lot of relationships kind of on my own, like from scratch. And not to say that we couldn't do better with a company.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know, but it just probably depends on how well you feel like you're doing at bringing in deals and stuff like that on your own.
Yeah, I would say just, you know, I don't think you should sign with a manager that has, you know, more than a handful of creators. Okay. So that's the risk there. Again, I'm not saying I'm totally against it, but I just remember being desperate for help. We were so busy, and I was so busy, and I was like, oh my God, like how are we going to do this? But somehow here I am. Okay. Next question. Do you feel like people treat you differently once they find out what you do?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I would say no. I was waiting. I was like, oh God, what are you going to say that I don't know about?
I think people, like I said in the beginning of the podcast, I think people genuinely have an interest, you know, because they just don't know anybody that does content creation for a living. So I just get a lot of questions.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. What has been your biggest challenge to making a successful YouTube channel and member following? What are your 5-year goals for the channel? That's Frederick.
Biggest challenge. I don't know. I guess the biggest challenge, what was it in making a successful YouTube channel?
And member following.
Okay. So I guess it depends on what you define success as. Like for me, and that looks different for everybody. I mean, for me, obviously, I think being able to quit your 9-to-5 job and go full time is what I would define as a successful channel. Biggest challenge, I think, was just a lot of the stuff we were talking about earlier, like all the admin stuff. Like I hate doing contracts. There's a big learning curve, you know, but I also really, really I just love making videos. I love creating stuff, anything, honestly. And I just got like, I kind of have this sort of like obsessive personality when I get into stuff,
sort of.
And so like I was just consuming as much information as I could if I wasn't creating stuff. And I mean, I still do. Like I'm listening to podcasts, I'm watching videos like just on YouTube and like how to do things. And so, you know, I guess that was just the biggest challenge, is just the learning curve. But again, you just you learn it as you go.
Well,
you
like an
know?
outsider, like if I can give my opinion on something I think was a challenge for you, you might hate this that I say this, but something you've struggled with, like as an artist, because that's what you've been, like at your soul since you were a kid, you're an artist at heart, whether you're selling paintings or, you know, lunchbox notes or like whatever you were doing, you struggle like to charge people and stuff. That was something you really struggled with like early on. Like you really, really struggled with that because you love this so much. To you, it didn't feel like a job. And I'll never forget.
That's a good point.
I will never forget when you made and you started doing, to speak specifically about memberships. And if you don't know, if you're watching, you don't know what that means on YouTube, you can subscribe to be a member to his channel. And it's like, you know, I think you set it at $4.99 a month.
Yeah.
But you pay every month, basically, you know, $5, like buy them a coffee, you know, and it goes through YouTube and they take their cut of it or whatever. But you get like behind the scenes and you get access to like Discord where like, you know, all of his members are constantly active in there. Anyway, it's a cheap way to support the channel. But I remember when you were like toying with that idea that you just felt so bad. And you were just like, God, I don't want to charge anyone. I think that's why it's $4.99, because I think you could have selected tiers and you were like, nope, this is what I'm setting it at. And you did struggle with that. For you, like I remember when you were like selling paintings when we were in our early 20s, and because, you know, they were beautiful, and you'd be like $50. I'm like, what? You know? And I'm like over here like your manager, like, no, you're not selling it for $50. You know, you're never going to make any money. Like you're never going to, if you love this, you got to value yourself, because you're never going to make enough money to like truly do this for a living. So you did struggle with that. I don't think that has anything to do with like, well, yeah, it does. I mean, that did have to do with the success of the channel, I think.
Yeah, that's a
But you got better at it, but you did get better.
Well, I also had years of doing freelance work too, where I kind of learned to like to value my work
and time, really.
And if somebody, you know, specifically with brands and stuff, and if they don't value what you're doing, you know, you get to a point when you're doing YouTube, like you realize like, you know, it took me a while to realize this, but like if I make a video about something, you know, they could potentially sell a lot of product. There's a lot of brand recognition. They're basically getting advertisement for all this stuff, you know,
forever, because you never take it down.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, why shouldn't they pay for that? You know?
Yeah.
And, so that's a good point, but it has always been hard, because it's like, you almost feel, I love doing it so much that it's like, you almost feel bad for, you know, charging for stuff like that. But I don't, on the brand side, I don't.
But you're so much better now.
The memberships, now I am, you know, because again, it takes so much work. It's so many hours, and it's like, okay, if I'm going to do this stuff for a brand, like I'm not going to do all this work just for you to send me a free product. I mean, there was a time where I would do that. But
well, I will say that if you're starting out, expect not to make money for years. Like, don't go into it thinking you are.
It for the money.
Yeah, you can't. Like, you're going to do it for product. You're going to find your niche, you know, figure out what you want to do, and then reach out to brands, and you're not going to make money for a while.
And starting off, that was never a goal of mine.
No, it wasn't.
I never cared about money. I never thought I was going to be a full-time YouTuber. That thought never even crossed my mind for at least a couple of years, you know. And I just love making videos, and I wanted to improve.
And you love tech.
I love tech. I love making videos. I wanted to improve my skills as a video editor, and you know, just with video in general. And I thought it would be cool if somebody sent me like some free light strips.
You were so freaking giddy. You didn't think it would be cool. You're like, look what I just got for free. Yeah. You were like on cloud nine. Okay. Yeah. The last part of that question, and this is interesting. I kind of want to hear your thoughts on this. What are your 5-year goals for the channel?
Whew.
I'm a little scared.
You know, this is something that I kind of struggle with, I feel like, too, and always have with in general for years, like my whole life, because I'm somebody who always has to have like goals to work towards, right? There's always something, whether it's a different career or whatever it is, like I've always wanted to work towards something.
So what are you working towards?
Do you remember at my last job, my 9-to-5 job that I quit doing? Like when I got that job, I was like, this is my dream job. Like
I loved it.
I loved it. But I got to a point after a couple of years where I was like, I feel like stagnant. I need to I need to be doing something else or something. I need to be growing somehow, so I go through that. And that is kind of something I struggle with now a little bit because I don't really know what my 5-year plan is. I mean, I still absolutely love making videos. Like I love it. I guess reaching 100,000, again, kind of a vanity metric, but that you get the silver play button sent from YouTube and all that stuff. So I guess that was kind of a goal at first, I didn't even think it would even be possible. Like I never thought I would reach 100,000 subscribers, but once you start getting a little closer, you're like, okay, that's a goal. And then I got that. And now I'm like, what,
when's the next plaque?
What?
Half?
I guess 1 million.
I thought it's 500.
I don't think they do one at 500,000. I don't know, but like I was able to quit my day job. I'm literally doing this now for a living, something that I absolutely love doing. I don't really know what the next goal is because I feel like
we might need to take Shane to the hospital.
I love it. I mean, I just.
But you don't have a goal?
I guess my goal was to just keep on doing it. Like I love it so much. I just hope it lasts as long as it can. And I'm just going to keep trying to, make valuable content that people want to watch, and help the community, build a community. So I guess it's just to keep on building. I don't really know, but I don't have
you don't have any goals.
A set goal,
Wow, are you content?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always trying to.
I feel like it's fulfilled your itch to constantly be better and learn.
That's one thing. So that's one thing that I fell in love with about YouTube. So like speaking to that whole like concept, like when I started YouTube, I remember this is before anybody was watching or anything like that. Very
I want to go
days.
Watch some videos.
What I loved about it is because I have always had that itch to like next project, next thing, next goal.
Yeah, it keeps you busy.
What's good about YouTube for me and my personality is that like, let's just say I do a video every week. Every week it's like a new chance to like start a new goal. Like my next goal is just like my next video. It's like a new, like I wrap up I love whatever project I'm working on or whatever video I'm working on. I wrap it up, publish it, then it's done. And now I'm moving on to the next one. And
I know
it's like a constant cycle that I love.
I got a 5-year goal.
It keeps me fulfilled,
Yeah. I know a 5-year goal that you just totally forgot about.
What?
Be invited to Apple.
Yeah. That would be nice. Yeah, that's a goal, I guess.
In the next 5, like just shoot for it.
Yeah, I don't know.
The next 5 years
to an Apple event. Yeah. I don't know that that's really anything I can do about that necessarily.
Yeah, no, but I'm shook.
But yeah, that's kind of a goal that I guess I've spoken here and there. Like maybe I'll speak it into existence. I kind of feel like when you get invited to an Apple event, that's kind of like as a tech content creator, it's kind of like validation. That's like the one to go to. But I guess I would like to do just more trips and stuff like that in general. Like I don't want to be traveling all the time, but I know other content creators who go on a lot of different like brand trips, not trips, but like brand, what do you call them? Like events, press events and stuff like that. That might be fun. I don't know. I haven't really done a whole lot of that. So we'll see.
All right. Next question is from Greg. Hey guys, what are some tips and tricks you would give to a newbie YouTube creator just getting started or wanting to start making content? To get started making content.
Tips to just get started.
All right, short and sweet.
Short and sweet. Okay. Well, we've already mentioned a lot. I would say don't get overwhelmed by all this stuff we're saying and all the stuff everybody tells you that you need to do, because nowadays there is tons of content and podcasts and everything, and everybody's going to tell you how to do something, and everybody's going to tell you probably a different way to do it. I would say just do it. Just push record. Same thing with us doing this podcast, this was a new thing for us. I would say just start. Don't worry about what anybody says. Don't worry about what anybody on Facebook that you went to high school with says. That's something you definitely have to learn to like block out. Just ignore everyone. Do what you love doing. Just start. Realize that at first nobody's watching. Truthfully, nobody really cares about what you're doing. and just do it and realize that every video you post, you're going to get better as long as you keep trying and just do it.
All right.
Learn as you go.
All right. So from the business side, open an LLC, open a business bank account. If you're doing your taxes on your own, just find a tax person so you can get some good advice in your state, wherever you live, on how to organize stuff and start posting. I mean, for example, like this podcast, how long did we talk about this? Years?
Probably like better part of 2 years.
Dude, for years. And we already have so much on our plate that it just seemed like so overwhelming. But I just thought like it was such a good idea that it was a way for me and him to connect and to kind of like, obviously build that connection like with your audience, because I looked at the numbers, we're probably still like 90-10 men, but just to like build a connection. And like I told you, like I have a craving for like realness, and I love the behind the scenes of everybody I follow. And I just thought this would be really cool. And it was just it was just a lot of work, and it was scary. Y'all watched the first episode. I didn't know where to put my hands. They were like sweating. And so anyway, I mean, that's what we did. We just did it, and we're going to figure it out.
And it's got to be sustainable. So like the comment from the very beginning of the podcast, you got to be doing it for the right reasons. I've also seen a lot of people, some people who are very good start YouTube channels. Some of them that make better, like visually better than me, especially when I first started. And they don't stick to it. So you got to be able to just love it, do it for the right reasons. I would say if you're doing it to make money, probably not the best idea, unless you're just very patient. But it's probably going to be like a few years before.
I mean, it's going to be a side hustle
since you can really make money. Yeah. So you just got to really love it, man, and do it for the right reasons and just do it.
Yep, I agree. So I think we are going to have to split this up. I think we could have like 18 episodes on the behind the scenes stuff. Really? So I'm going to read our bonus question.
So there's a lot more on the list still?
Yeah, there's a lot more. I think I might have accidentally deleted something. But there is a lot more.
Damn. All right. Well, y'all let us know if this is stuff you like, if you want us to do more of this, if you want to do a part 2. Apparently we got more questions. And
I mean, we're not even like half. I think we're about halfway through. I knew this was going to be 2 episodes. There's just so much. You cannot cover it all. There's so much that goes into this and the behind the scenes stuff.
Well, we're happy to do another, part 2 if this is something you guys are interested in, kind of the behind the scenes on YouTube and content creation.
So let us know. Next week we'll talk about just like the creative process, burnout, marriage and family, life balance, just to give you a little teaser and kind of looking ahead. I think it'll be good to split it up. So let's get to the bonus question. This is from Robert Pagan. I hope I said your name right. I have 6 kids, and as you may remember mentioning in Discord, which is, his server that you get for being a member, from time to time, oldest is 14 and youngest is 1. I just got my first Mac, and I'm trying to juggle working from home half the time, and keeping on top of tasks can be daunting. What kind of task manager or scheduler do you use, and what tips do you have to automate getting through the day? My go-to is a pen and paper and write a list, but that doesn't always work, LOL. If you use a program or app, would be neat for you to share. So what do you do to...
Yeah, this is something that I have struggled with also for years. I can't imagine having 6 kids.
Oh my God, me neither. You are the MVP.
Hats off to you. Did he say he does content? Is he... I can't remember. I know Robert.
No, he says, I just got my first Mac. I'm trying to juggle working from home.
Okay, working
half
from home.
The time.
Yeah, working from home. Yeah, man. This is something I've struggled with for years, especially as I started doing YouTube, and there's just so many moving pieces. Not to mention the family and the 9-to-5 job and all the other stuff, but just with YouTube itself, you got different, maybe deals you're working on, different videos you're usually working on. So I've tried different things over the years, and I don't really have a glorious answer, especially from a tech guy. You'd probably expect like, these awesome like tools that you're using, note-taking apps and all this kind of stuff. And I have tried most of it. I think everybody's different, and you just got to figure out what works for you. For me, what I've landed on in the past probably year I've been doing, I do use Notion. So we use Notion to kind of just keep track of our content schedule, brand deals. I put scripts or any of the information for our content schedule and YouTube basically in Notion, and you have access to that. And so we can kind of use that as a way to sort of stay on track of things. So for that, but for like just the day in and day out, again, I've tried different apps and things. I just never really end up using it that much. I've tried, everything from the stock apps, like the Reminders app and Notes and everything in Apple to other third-party apps. Nothing works for me. I just end up not looking at it. So I started using planners, just probably
like physical planners.
Yeah, just a physical planner a little over a year ago. And it's really helped me. There is one, I read a book. God, what was the name of that book?
Maybe you can put it in the show notes.
Yeah, I'll try to put it in the show notes. I read a book that I found very helpful, which I think would apply to anybody that's just trying to like be a better person and just be a better, whether you're an entrepreneur or what. It was, I thought, one of the better ones that I've read. And there was a planner that came along with that, or that you could buy separately. And I used that for a while. And again, we'll try to put notes in the show notes, or links in the show notes. But since then, so I used that for a while. It's just a planner, and it helps you kind of on a monthly basis and on a daily basis to time block. And so for me, time blocking has really been important for me to do.
I suggested that to you because you would just work till midnight.
Well, it helps with that, working too much, but also I get to a point where I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but you have so many things to do on your list that you almost just don't know where to start, or I'll end up sitting there doing nothing, trying to figure out what the hell I'm supposed to be doing.
Or spend too much time on one thing.
That too. Yeah. So I started time blocking, and now I use a different planner, but it's literally just pen and paper, but it has a spot for my month, my monthly calendar, and then also day to day. And I have a section where I can write my to-do list. I have a, top priority that I write down in there, and then also a time block spot where I can write, okay, from 10 a.m. to, noon, I'm working on this project, and then I'm working on this project, and then I'm going to go to the gym or whatever. And I literally will time block my day a lot of days just to kind of keep me working on the things that I need to work on. And then also, to make sure I stop working at, 5 or 6 p.m. or whatever. So
that still doesn't happen.
I do still struggle with that, especially during this time of year, but it definitely helps. And that's what I've landed on. And I really like it, again, as somebody who's tried a bunch of different things. The apps and stuff, they just don't work that much for me. There's just something really satisfying too about a pen and paper and crossing things off your list. And
so, kudos to you. I think, I remember when during COVID and we had to like come home and work, I cried like every day because we were not just working our jobs, we were having to teach our kids. We were like the teachers, we were trying to work. And I remember being like so flustered, and it is very hard to like concentrate until you like get into a groove. And I will say for you, if you've got young kids from 1, I think you said to 16, I mean, having a 1-year-old and working from home is so hard. I will say, so Shane uses a planner. I use the calendar in my iPhone. If it is not on my calendar, it doesn't happen. That is everything. Like anything important I need to do, like the bank, dog appointment. I mean, just anything I need to work on, like invoices, if stuff is due, I have to use my iPhone calendar. It can't be a Notion. Like everything, my life is in the iPhone calendar. So like, I like lists like you and you. I love to scratch things off. My problem is I'll forget the list at home, or I'll lose the list, and I don't go look at my notes. So I found the easiest thing for me is to put everything in my calendar per day that I need to do and set an alarm. So it'll go off and I'll look at it and be like, oh shit, I need to do this. So if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't happen.
I got to the point where I wouldn't even look at the calendar half the time.
I have to.
And because you'd put so much crap on there that I didn't need to know.
Well, we have our own calendars.
Yeah, but I just didn't use the calendar much. So I got in the habit, mainly after watching this one book or reading this book that I was talking about. And part of it is like starting your day with this, and like even writing down goals and stuff for the day. And that really helped me for like the year that I use this. You're supposed to write down your goals and everything for the day. And then also in the evening, you're supposed to come back. So it's kind of like journaling, but you just kind of get in this habit of like opening it up every day. And then you can see your calendar, you see what you're supposed to be working on. And that's what's been really good.
He's just got, you got 6 kids at home and,
but I don't really have any like automations or anything like that. Again, to me with this, simpler the better. Like it's got to be something that you just actually use. I know some people have some freaking awesome automations, and I'm always kind of jealous when I see stuff like that, but it just doesn't work for me.
I guess part 2 will be next week. We'll knock out part 2 and like get into the personal side of it and just the impact and everything. So I hope this was interesting and we didn't bore you to death. We do just get so many looks and questions. I can talk more about that next week. But thank you guys for watching today. And thank you to Aqara for supporting us and for sponsoring this podcast today.
All right. Bye.
Bye, y'all.